Hello, and how's everybody doing? Jay Elsen, joined by South Dakota women's coach Dawn Plitzuweit inside the Sanford Kyle Sports Center in Vermillion. Dawn, I want to talk about the week that was for you, and it was a fun one, certainly. But let's start with what happened Thursday in Denver. This was a matchup of the top offense in the Summit League and the top defense. And now on this particular night, the offense kind of won out. You got a very good look at just how potent that Pioneers attack can be. So what is it about them that makes them so dangerous?
Well, there are a couple things. The most important thing really is that they're very, very versatile. They can really attack the rim quickly in transition. They can attack the rim in the half court, but they can also space the floor and shoot it from the arc at an extremely efficient rate. They're a team that shoots it at about a 40% clip from the three-point arc. So defending in all space on the arc and at the rim is really challenging.
So was there something specific that you did struggle with defensively against them?
Yeah, we struggled with all of it defensively. We gave up 104 or 105 points in that game, so we struggled to guard in all facets of it.
In the end, you do see that 15-game Summit League win streak come to an end, and I know that probably meant a lot more to a lot of people outside your program. Coaches don't like to focus on that type of thing. That being said, though, was there any conversation about what you guys had accomplished and what it meant to see that come to an end?
Well, what we talked about after that game is that it goes to show how difficult it is to really do what our team was able to accomplish last year. But get rid of that right now and focus on who are we and what's our identity and how do we kind of get away from that a little bit and how do we get back to being who we are.
Now, you have to consider the whole picture here, and we all know how difficult it is as a mid-major to get into the NCAA tournament as anything but an automatic bid. But you positioned yourself very well. You had a great non-conference schedule. You performed very well. Now you get into league play and you suffer an early loss at a team that's not South Dakota State. So does that change the outlook, as of Thursday night anyway, going into Sunday's game against South Dakota State?
Well, I think what it does for us is it refocuses us on where we have to be in terms of being our best defensively, finishing plays, being the tougher team, because ultimately we can't control everything. There are games that your opponents play at a very, very high level, and I thought Denver did that, give them a lot of credit for that. But now you got to focus on the precious present and look ahead at where we have to go and what we have to accomplish. And the tournament ramifications are so far into the future. There's so much basketball to play that we don't talk about that right now. We talk about who we are and how we have to get better.
And Sunday, that precious present was the Jackrabbits. So let's talk about this. This was one of the more highly anticipated regular season matchups in the history of this rivalry. I think that is very safe to say because of the quality of these two teams. And the fans really showed up. First ever sellout inside here, inside the Sanford Kyle Sports Center in its 3-year history. Where does that whole thing rank in terms of the environment for you? Because it was pretty incredible.
It was absolutely phenomenal. It was loud from pregame warm-ups through introductions and then all the way along throughout the course of the game. And there were times you couldn't really hear if there was a whistle that was blown because the fans were so loud because they were just so into it. It was really a lot of fun to be a part of that type of environment. As a young girl growing up, you dream about playing at the highest level and playing in front of a packed crowd and having a game the way that the game went and to be a double overtime game. Like, you can't script it any better than that. And our fans did such a great job of making that dream really a reality for our young ladies.
So one of the big challenges for a game like that, as highly anticipated as it was, is for the actual game to live up to the hype. This one certainly did. It felt like a prize fight with two heavyweights going at it, blow for blow. I mean, in terms of physicality, yes, but also in the terms of the level of play.
Well, if you look at the execution, we have a game that goes to double overtime against two teams that are good defensively and that turn their opponents over. And we end up with 19 assists and 11 turnovers in 50 minutes. And I think South Dakota State had 19 assists and maybe 13 turnovers. So just a very well played game on both ends, and not because the defenses weren't battling, because we both were. It was just that both teams played and performed at a very high level.
Yeah, and to win a game like that takes a tremendous amount of composure. So where was that attribute most evident to you? At what point in the game?
Well, I think certainly when we have an opportunity late in the game in regulation with 6 seconds to go to get a shot, we get around the rim, we don't get the shot to go. You know, there's thoughts that Hannah might have gotten fouled. Now we go into overtime, and now all of a sudden we start overtime with 3 minutes to go in overtime. We're down 7, and so now it's time to wipe clean that slate of whatever happened in regulation, and now it's time to really dig in and take it possession by possession, because we still had enough time, but we dug ourselves a little bit of a hole because South Dakota State got to the rim against us and got to the free throw line, and that I thought showed a lot of composure from our young ladies to come back in that situation. And that wasn't the first time that we came back in the game. We had a lead in the first half, lost that in the second half, had to come back again. So there were a couple different times, but I thought the one in overtime really was significant and really, I think, spoke to the level of poise and toughness that our young ladies showed.
Yeah, it was a thriller from start to finish. There's no doubt about that. And you talk about composure, and individually, one of the players that really jumps out is Kira Duffy. I mean, a couple of milestones for her in this game. She sets a new career high with 28 points and surpasses 1,000 for her career. Can you say enough about what that young lady means to your program?
Oh, it's amazing. We ask her to defend the other team's best players in some situations, or get matched up with a post player and keep them off the glass. She rebounds for us. She handles the ball for us. She posts up for us. She attacks the rim and scores it one-on-one or sometimes one-on-two, and makes a lot of good things happen for us. Got a huge offensive rebound late in the game, I think, to tie the game back up. Had one I think in overtime with the shot clock winding, that she passed it down to Elsen Arms, for a quick layup at the end of the shot clock. So she just does a lot. But for her to score 1,000 points, she's earned that. Here's a young lady who's in the gym all the time, working and putting time into her game, to have the confidence, the ability and the confidence to score.
The next challenge for Kira and the rest of your team now is to find a way to channel that excitement, that energy, because games like this are so exhilarating, and now you go into a game, you wait about a week to play the one game that you've got on the schedule for you this week, and it's against Fort Wayne. It's a team that's struggled here over the last couple of years. They're 0-3 right now in the Summit League. How do you continue that thing moving forward and not take any kind of a step back here?
Well, I think we learned a very valuable lesson in that. I think we've had a non-conference schedule that really, you had to get up for so many different games, and it's hard to do that every single game. And we talk about making sure that we're playing with great energy and enthusiasm, but also making sure that we're executing. And I think what we focus on this week, first of all, is getting back to feeling good. I think there were that was a very physical game, which is when you play the best, that's what it looks like. So right now we have to heal a little bit from that battle. And then we work on executing and how do we get better at the small parts of the game that can be the difference in games.
Well, congratulations on a phenomenal win and a phenomenal environment. Good luck to you this week. Look forward to sitting down with you again next week.
Sounds great. Thank you, Jay.